Welcome to Master Your Money, Budgeting, Saving, and Debt-Free Living. I'm your host, Nate Tanner. On this show, we use the Triggator triangle, budget, save, and pay off debt to help you build a spending plan that fits your life, grow your savings with purpose, and knock out debt with confidence. Today's episode is all about thinking like a CFO. That's right, we're not just managing your money, we're running you, Inc. And every successful business has one thing in common. They know their numbers. But here's the kicker. Most of us don't treat our personal finances with the same level of scrutiny we'd expect from a company. We let emotional spending sneak in like a ninja. Seasonal creeps slide in like Mariah Carey in November. And underused categories just sit there like that gym membership we swore we'd cancel. In this episode, we're going to flip the script. You'll learn how to audit your spending plan like a CFO, run a personal profit and loss review, and spot those sneaky budget busters that are quietly draining your financial momentum. We'll also talk about how to reassign that found money to strengthen your Triggator triangle, whether that's boosting your savings, accelerating debt payoff, or finally giving your spending plan the glow up it deserves. As Proverbs 27:23 says, "Be diligent to know the state of your flocks and attend your herds." In modern terms, know your numbers. And here's a stat to kick us off. According to a 2024 study by NerdWallet, 72% of Americans say that they've experienced budget leaks within the past year. Expenses they didn't plan for or even notice until it was too late. That's like running a business and not realizing your inventory is walking out the back door. So grab your metaphorical clipboard, CFO. It's time to audit your life like it's your bottom line. Why you need a CFO mindset for your spending plan. Let's start with a mindset shift that might feel a little strange at first. You are the CFO of your life. Yep, you, not your accountant, not your partner, not your favorite budgeting app. You. And if that sounds intimidating, don't worry. We're not talking about spreadsheets with 47 tabs or boardroom meetings with pie charts and laser pointers. We're talking about leading your money like a business with clarity, strategy, and purpose. Because here's the truth. Most people don't need more money. They need more leadership over the money that they already have. So what does a CFO actually do? Let's break it down. A chief financial officer, CFO, doesn't just track expenses. They audit spending to find leaks and inefficiencies. They run profit and loss reports to understand what's working and what's not. They reallocate resources to maximize return. And they make strategic decisions based on data, not emotion. Sound familiar? It should, because that's exactly what we need to do with our personal finances. But most of us, we're running our lives more like a startup with no business plan. We're spending without strategy, reacting instead of leading, and wondering why we're always behind. The problem: emotional spending does not equal strategic spending. Let's be honest, most of us don't spend like CFOs. We spend like emotional creatures because that's what we are. We buy because we're tired. We subscribe because it's on sale. We upgrade because everyone else has one. And we forget to cancel because, well, life. And that's how budget busters sneak in. They're not always big. In fact, they're usually small. A $9.99 subscription here, a $6 coffee there, a $40 seasonal refresh at Target that somehow turned into $140. These aren't emergencies, they're leaks. And over time, they drain your financial momentum. According to a 2024 study by Rocket Money, the average American spends $133 a month on subscriptions, and 42% of those, they go unused. That's over $600 a year in money doing absolutely nothing for you. The CFO mindset: audit, adjust, assign. So how do we fix it? We adopt the CFO mindset. That means, first, audit your spending plan. Pull up the last 60 to 90 days of transactions. Look for categories that consistently go over, subscriptions you forgot about, emotional spending patterns, late night Amazon, anyone? Seasonal creep in, maybe it's back to school, holidays, summer splurges. This isn't about guilt, it's about awareness. Second, run a personal P&L. Ask yourself, what's coming in? Income. What's going out? Expenses. What's left over? Net profit. Then ask, where is my profit going? Is it going towards goals or is it going towards leaks? And if your net profit is zero or even worse, negative, it's time to reassign. Third, reassign found money. Once you find the leaks, don't just celebrate, reassign that money. Boost your peace of mind fund, pay down debt, or maybe add to your fund. Yes, joy is part of the plan. Or start with some snowflakes that you can apply towards your debts. Because found money without a plan, it disappears faster than a plate of fries at a family reunion. The Mythbusters principle. Remember on Mythbusters when Adam and Jamie would test a theory, and even if it failed spectacularly, they'd say, failure is always an option. You're not trying to be perfect. You're trying to learn. You're testing what works. You're adjusting what doesn't. You're leading your money like a scientist in a lab coat with curiosity, not shame. So if your spending plan has a few explosions, good. That means you're experimenting. That means you're paying attention. That means you're growing. A quick stat break, the cost of not auditing. According to a 2025 NerdWallet survey, 68% of Americans say they've experienced budget leaks in the last year. 1 in 3 say they don't know where at least 20% of their income goes. And only 14% review their spending plan regularly. That's like running a business and never checking the books. Remember, you're not just budgeting, you're leading. When you adopt the CFO mindset, you stop reacting and start leading. You stop wondering where your money went and start telling it where to go. You stop feeling like a victim of your finances and start acting like the CEO of your life. Because you are. And in the next section, we'll walk through exactly how to run your profit and loss review on your own personal finances so that you can spot the leaks, reassign the wins, and lead your money like a pro. How to run a personal profit and loss review. So now that you've got your CFO mindset on, your clipboard in hand, your metaphorical glasses pushed up your nose, it's time to do what every great CFO does. Run a profit and loss review. But don't worry, we're not building a corporate spreadsheet or presenting to a board of directors. We're just going to walk through a simple, powerful process to help you see some things. We're going to see where your money is going, what's working, what's leaking, and how to reassign your profit to strengthen your Triggator triangle. So what is a personal P&L? In business, a profit and loss statement or P&L shows revenue, what's coming in, expense, what's going out, net profit, what's left over. In your personal finances, it's the same idea. Income, your paychecks, side hustles, child support, whatever's coming in. Expenses, everything you spend, fixed, variable, and the sneaky. Net profit, that's what is left over after everything's paid. If your net profit is zero or worse, negative, you're not failing. You've just been flying blind. And this review, it's how you turn the lights on. Step 1, pull the data. Start with your last 60 to 90 days of transactions. You can use a bank statement, your budgeting app, a spreadsheet, or the old school print and highlight method. No shame in the highlighter game. Look at every dollar that came in and every dollar that went out. Then categorize your expenses into 3 buckets. Fixed, things like rent, insurance, subscriptions. Variable, groceries, gas, dining out. Irregular, gifts, car repairs, seasonal spending. This isn't about judgment, it's about clarity. Step 2, calculate your net profit. Now, we're going to do some math. Take your total income, that's everything that came in, minus your total expenses, everything that went out, and that's your net profit. If your net profit is positive, awesome. Again, if it's zero or negative, don't panic. That just means it's time to reassign. And here's the kicker. Even if your income is solid, your profit might be leaking out through unassigned dollars. According to a 2025 study by Morning Consult, 61% of Americans say that they lose track of at least 10% of their income each month. That's not a math problem, that's a leadership opportunity. Step 3, spot the budget busters. Now that you've got the numbers, it's time to play detective. Look for reoccurring charges that you forgot about, categories that you consistently go over. Yes, I'm looking at you, DoorDash. Impulse buys that don't align with your values, and seasonal creep like those summer activities or holiday spending that snuck in early. Highlight anything that feels off. These are your budget busters, the silent saboteurs of your spending plan. Step 4, ask the right questions. Now that you've spotted the leaks, ask, what expenses felt aligned with my values? What expenses felt like noise? What categories surprised me? What can I reduce, renegotiate, or remove? This is where your Triggator triangle comes in, because every dollar you reclaim is a dollar you can reassign. Because every dollar you reclaim is a dollar you can reassign to budget, strengthening your plan, save, building your peace of mind funds, pay off debt, accelerate your freedom. Remember that episode of Seinfeld where Jerry realized he's even Steven? Every time he loses $20, he finds $20. Every time he breaks up, he meets someone new. That's how most people treat their money, like it'll just even out. But here's the truth. Your finances, they're not a sitcom. They don't magically balance themselves. You're not even Steven. You're the CFO. And if you don't assign your profit with purpose, it'll disappear faster than Newman with a big bowl of jambalaya from everyone's favorite soup chef. Step 5, reassign your profit. Once you've found your profit, even if it's just $50, don't let it float. Reassign it, give it a job, make it work for you. You can even maybe create a simple framework. Look at the category like your peace of mind and put 40% towards that. Your debt payoff, put 40% towards that. Joyful spending, put 10% towards that. And maybe increase your giving and put 10% more on that. You can tweak the percentages, but the key is to assign every dollar. Because unassigned money, that's a bored teenager. It'll find trouble. According to a 2024 study by the Financial Health Network, people who reassign found money within 48 hours are 3 times more likely to hit their savings goals, 2 times more likely to reduce their debt within 6 months, and 4 times more likely to stick to their spending plan long term. That's not just budgeting, that's leadership. Your numbers, they tell a story. Your profit and loss review isn't just about math. It's about meaning. It tells the story of what you value, what you prioritize, and what you're building. And when you lead your money like a CFO, you don't just balance the books, you build a future. In the next section, we're going to go deeper into uncovering those sneaky budget busters, that emotional spending, that seasonal creep, and those underused categories, and how to spot them before they sabotage your plan. Identifying silent budget busters. You've got the CFO mindset, you've run your personal P&L, you've even spotted a few obvious leaks. But now it's time to go deeper, because some budget busters, they don't show up with flashing lights or sirens. They're subtle, they're sneaky, they're silent. And if you don't know what to look for, they'll quietly sabotage your progress month after month. Let's shine a flashlight into the corners of your spending plan and expose the 3 most common silent budget busters: emotional spending, seasonal alligators, unused categories. Emotional spending. when your feelings swipe first. Let's start with the big one. Emotional spending is when your feelings make financial decisions. You're stressed, so you order takeout. You're bored, so you scroll Amazon. You're celebrating, so you treat yourself again. You're sad, so you buy something to feel better. And here's the thing, emotional spending, it's not always irrational. It's just unassigned. According to a 2024 study by Capital One, 53% of Americans admit to making purchases that they regret later due to stress, boredom, or emotional triggers. That's not a spending problem, it's a coping strategy in disguise. How to spot it. Look for purchases made late night or during high-stress weeks. Check your fun or miscellaneous categories. If it's bloated, dig deeper. Ask, was this purchase planned or emotional? How to fix it. Add a feel-good fund to your spending plan. Yes, really. Give yourself a small, guilt-free amount each paycheck for emotional spending. Use a 24-hour rule for non-essential purchases. Journal your triggers. Track what you're feeling when you spent. This isn't about restriction, it's about replacing impulse with intention. Seasonal alligators, when the calendar bites back. Next, seasonal creep. But let's call it what it really is, alligator expenses. If you're new to the Triggator community, here's a quick definition. Alligator expenses are non-monthly, predictable costs that sneak up and bite your spending plan if you don't plan for them. Think car repairs, school fees, holiday travels, birthdays, sports registrations, and yes, seasonal spending. These aren't emergencies. They're not surprises. They're just inevitable. And if you don't feed the gators, they'll eat your progress. A 2025 NerdWallet study found that 64% of Americans underestimate their seasonal spending by at least $500 a year. That's not a surprise expense, that's a predictable pattern. How to spot it? Compare your spending plan by month and look for spikes. Review your calendar, what's coming up that you haven't planned for? Ask, did this expense catch me off guard or did I just not assign it? How to fix it? Add seasonal events, holidays, birthdays, school fees, etc. to your alligator fund. Divide the total cost by the number of paychecks until it's due. Automate the transfer into a separate savings account labeled Alligators. Revisit your alligator strategy quarterly to adjust for new or shifting expenses. This is how you stop being surprised and start being strategic. Underused categories, the ghosts in your spending plan. Now let's talk about the quietest budget buster of all, underused categories. These are the line items in your spending plan that you assign money to every paycheck, but rarely or never use and never reassign. They're like digital dust bunnies just sitting there collecting dollars. Some examples, maybe a clothing category that hasn't been touched in 3 months, a home improvement fund that's been idle since last spring, a pet care line that's overfunded because you forgot you'd already bought the food. These aren't bad categories, they're just inactive. And inactive money, that's inefficient money. How to spot it? Look at your plan versus actual and see what items are consistently under plan. Look at your alligator expenses and see if you're overfunding one. Ask, is this money doing anything or just sitting there? How to fix it? Reassign unused funds to active goals, debt, savings, upcoming expenses. Set a quarterly category audit to clean up your plan. Combine or rename categories to reflect your current season. For funds that you're unsure about, then decide a little later. This isn't about cutting, it's about clarifying. Remember in Star Wars: A New Hope when Han Solo says, "Traveling through hyperspace ain't like dusting crops, farm boy." That's your spending plan. It's not a set it and forget it system. It's hyperspace navigation. It requires attention, course correction, and a co-pilot mindset. And if you don't check your coordinates, aka your categories, you could end up light years off course without even realizing it. So be like Han. Check your systems, adjust your route, and lead your money like you're flying the Millennium Falcon. The most dangerous budget busters aren't the big emergencies. They're the small, silent leaks that go unnoticed. But now you've got the tools to spot them. Emotional spending, assign it. Seasonal alligators, plan for them. Underused categories, reallocate them. Because when you lead your money with clarity, even the quietest leak can get plugged. And your plan gets stronger. You've made it to the end of the Hidden Budget Busters. And if you're still here, you're not just curious about your spending plan, you're ready to lead it like a CFO. In this episode, we walked through why your spending plan needs a CFO mindset and how to adopt one, how to run your own personal profit and loss review and spot leaks and reassign profit, how to identify budget busters like emotional spending, seasonal alligators, and underused categories, and how to plug those leaks with purpose. Because here's the truth, your money isn't just a tool, it's a system. And when you lead it with clarity, it doesn't just behave, it builds. Your challenge today, it's simple but powerful. Run a mini P&L review on your last paycheck spending plan. List your income, list your actual expenses, calculate your net profit, identify one silent budget buster, and reassign that money to your Triggator triangle. Even if it's just $10, assign it, because every dollar you lead is a dollar that builds your future. Got a budget buster you finally caught, a category you cleaned up, or a CFO moment that made you feel like a financial Jedi? Email me at podcast@Triggator.com. Message me on Instagram, Facebook, or X @Triggator. If this episode helped you, follow the show so that your next financial win doesn't slip through the cracks. Leave a review, especially if this helped you feel more like a CFO and less like a confused consumer. Share this episode with a friend who's ready to stop guessing and start leading. And don't forget to follow @Triggator on X, Facebook, and Instagram for tips, encouragement, and behind-the-scenes content. Coming up next time, the values check-in. Are you spending in alignment with what matters most? If your spending plan feels like it's running on autopilot, or worse, someone else's priorities, this is your episode to reset. We'll walk through how to identify your top 3 to 5 core values, run a values audit on your last 30 days of spending, and build a paycheck plan that reflects what matters most to you, not just what's due. Because when your money aligns with your values, your plan doesn't just work, it feels right. Remember, CFOs don't wait for perfect conditions. They lead with clarity, adjust with purpose, and act with confidence. So when you're finding leaks, reassigning profit, or just learning how to lead your money one paycheck at a time, you're not just budgeting, you're auditing for impact. That's how you build a spending plan that works like a business and supports the life you're building on purpose. Thanks again for listening to Master Your Money, Budgeting, Saving, and Debt-Free Living. I'm your host, Nate Tanner. See you next time.